The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Longview, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33845. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper area. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find your tow hooks located on the frame rails. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find on the passenger and driver's side dual air horns. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find your PA speaker and electronic siren. Moving all the way to the driver's side, face of the front bumper, you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's move up onto the bumper extension now. On the passenger side, you'll find a 2.5-inch swivel discharge. Located directly in the center, you'll find a hose tray located in the very center with 2 Velcro straps for securing that hose tray. Let's move up onto the face of the bumper. You'll find passenger and driver's side forward-facing emergency lights. On the outer edge of the body, you'll find your marker turn light. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find the headlight structure housing a low and high beam headlight. The high beam is on the inside. Moving up from that location, you'll find a cluster housing a turn indicator and also an emergency warning light. Across your vehicle, you have 3 windshield wipers across a seamless one-piece windshield. Moving out to the outer edges, you'll find your mirrors housing a convex and flat portion mirror. Let's move up to the brow, where you'll find your brow light forward-facing, and then all the way up onto the very top, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's take a look at some of the close-ups of the items that we just talked about. Let's take a look at the bumper extension area. On the side, you'll find a side-facing forward emergency warning light. Here's a better image of the clearance light located on the passenger and driver's side. Moving now to the front discharge. Then as we move to the center, you'll find your hose tray with dry deck material on the inside, Velcro straps on the top. Headlight structure, low and high beam headlights. Moving up to the roof, you'll find your brow light and emergency warning light. Let's move just past the driver's door, where you'll find your auto charging system. This is where you'll find the display. Once plugged into shore power, this will activate. Here's your department logo. Moving down to the lower section, you'll find an additional compartment, LED lighting inside. Let's go ahead and start with your pump panel. We'll start first in the upper left-hand corner, just under your pre-connects. First, starting in the red system, this is your foam system. There's a control module on the left, and also on the right hand side you'll find a foam level indicator. Let's move just to the right of this location to the gray area, where you'll find your master intake valve and also your master discharge valve. In between the two of those, you're going to find your test gauge ports. This is for vacuum and pressure. They currently are plugged. Let's move just to the right hand side, where you'll find your throttle pressure governor. You'll find some information here. It's difficult to see in this, but you'll find a warning light that says do not open throttle unless light is on. That's the green light located below. You'll also find in red the idle button. Moving just to the right, you'll find an orange preset button. Moving down just beneath that, you'll find a blue menu and also silence button. To the right, you'll find the green mode button. This allows you to select between pressure, PSI, or RPM throttle mode. Just to the right, you'll find in yellow, this is the increase or decrease in the engine RPMs or throttle. Also your pressure. Moving down, you'll also find diagnostic information regarding your engine. And then moving just to the right, you'll find a audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel does allow you to dampen the sound. Let's move up to the right-hand side, where you'll find your panel lights. Just beneath that, you'll find a green indicator, OK to pump. And then beneath that, you'll find the driver's side scene lights, passenger side scene lights, and also rear scene lights. Let's move down from this location. You'll find your discharges. These are clearly color-coded and labeled. This is the front
crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. Just to the right, you'll find a wheel valve. This is your deluge discharge, and then to the right, you'll find the driver's rear discharge. You can also get an indication whether they're foam capable. They're indicated on the individual handle. Just down below that, you'll find a warning label regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming off from above, there is a possibility of entanglement. You'll also find the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 levers here for your discharges. Let's move just to the right where you're going to find a large diameter passenger side discharge. This is the green. It's going to be on the passenger side of the vehicle. You'll also find a water level indicator. This is for the water in your water tank. Moving up, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line. Just beneath that, you'll find your tank to pump. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll find your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. And then as we move just down from this location, you'll find the pull handle for your primer. Moving further down, you'll find a pull handle for the pump drain. This is your master drain. Let's go ahead and move down, and just to the left again, where you'll find this placard affixed to the side of the panel. This is your Pierce test pump panel. We'll talk about that in just a moment. You also have two 2.5-inch discharges on this side, and also a wattress placard indicating the type of water pump that you have. As we move further down, you'll find the minimum operation maintenance schedule, which refers to the Pierce placard on the left. And then just to the right, you'll find the Pierce logo, American flag eagle cap. This is your large diameter pump intake. Moving down to the right, you'll find your manual pump shift. Just underneath that, you'll find the foam fill operations. There is a warning label here regarding foam failure, and do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam. We also have a pressure hazard warning label here, in addition with a warning label that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and only after they've received proper training. Just down beneath that, you'll find the 2.5-inch auxiliary female inlet. And then on the right and left-hand side of this, you'll find all of your color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move up to the wattress placard. You have a pump model CSU. It is a capacity of 1,500 GPM. Just to the left, you'll find your Pierce minimum operation maintenance schedule. On the left-hand side is the GPM. On the right-hand side are the RPMs, and the test pressures for 150, 200, and 250 PSI are located directly in the center. You'll also find the job number in the upper left-hand corner. Once again, some close-ups here. These are the discharge drains in the lower section, and just to the right, you'll find additional discharge drains. Let's move from this location just to the very right-hand side of the pump panel, where you'll find your manifold drain and driver's side auxiliary inlet drains. You do have a pan door located within this area. This is the foam fill operations. The instructions are on the left-hand side, which match the yellow handle inside. Underneath the panel, you'll find your foam pump discharge drain and also the foam pump intake drain. These are just simply lift latches for draining. Let's move into the upper left-hand corner. You have a D handle. Once you've opened that compartment, you'll find backboard storage. You'll also find your 3 hose pre-connects here. They're clearly color-coded and labeled on the actual pre-connects. In the upper corner, you'll find a D handle, which gains access into this compartment. And then at the lower section, you'll find all your information regarding your Husky foam system. We also have a warning label here not to ride on the side of the apparatus. In the upper left-hand corner, difficult to see in this image, although this is a tank level indicator. This is the compartment I've previously referred to for compartment storage. As we move down to the top of the vehicle, you'll find step lighting located at the very top along the diamond plate, and also the yellow diamonds indicating the step area. You'll also find 2 side-facing scene lights. As we move to the top, you'll find your extend-a-gun for your master stream device, and then you'll also find a directional light here, forward-facing and rear-facing into the spaces for work lights. Also located in this area, you'll find your hydraulic oil reservoir. This is the fill cap on the very top, and then also instructions regarding your extend-a-gun. As we move to the dunnage area, you'll find your foam fill tank for tank A. There's also a warning label here regarding foam failure. As we move to the right in the image, you'll find your main water tank fill top location. As we move to the cab itself, you'll find 2 of these affixed. These are stickers indicating this is a non-walking surface. Just a quick look at the side of the apparatus. We'll now delve into the center compartments here. First, starting with this compartment next to the pump panel, you have 2 pull-out center dividers. There is also a little giant ladder located in the far right hand side of this compartment, LED lighting in the front and also in the rear. Let's move from this compartment now to the front axle area, where you'll find 3 bottle storage locations. They do have retaining straps. Directly over the rear axle, you'll find a toolboard D-handle style. There is a locking mechanism on the right hand side. Once it's been in the open position, you'll need to restore that lock for positioning in the closed position. Bottle storage and also ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. That's the silver cap. The blue cap is going to be your 4.5 US gallon diesel DEF tank. As we move to the next compartment, you'll find a pull-out tray on the bottom, the release mechanisms on the right-hand side, and also adjustable trays. You'll also find LED lighting inside these compartments and ventilation. As we move down to the rear, you'll also find in the upper left-hand corner, this is when plugged into shore power, this outlet will be activated. Just underneath this compartment, you'll find your wheel chocks, and those are release mechanisms for those folding wheel chocks. Quick view of the rear of the apparatus. Let's first start in the lower left-hand corner of this image, where you'll find a turn marker light, clearance light, and then also your emergency light, brake light, turn indicator, and also backup lights. There are also 2 folding steps located here to go aloft to the hose bed area, with the third being the center step. As we move to the left-hand side, you'll find 2 switches on this side. We'll talk about those in just a moment, and then also your shore power for providing power to your apparatus. Moving up from this location, you're going to find 2 rear-facing red emergency warning lights. Just up from this location, you'll find 2 rear-facing scene lights, and at the very top, you'll find a 360-degree emergency warning light. There are sufficient grab handles for going aloft. There's one at the very top, 2 on the right-hand side and left-hand side. As we move now to the right-hand side of the image, this is where your ladder storage is behind the D-handled pan door. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then also you have a rear-facing water tank level indicator. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those switches that we talked about earlier. On the left-hand side of the vehicle, this is going to be your hose and also your rear scene light switches. Just above that location, you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp plug. And then as we move to the right-hand side, we've got a few warning labels here. Once, entanglement hazard. Be cautious when those hoses are coming out from above. Also, do not ride on the rear of the apparatus, and use caution when climbing on the rear section of your apparatus. Let's move from this location all the way to the right-hand side. At the very bottom, you're going to find a roll-up door. You have a pull-out tray on the bottom and also a pull-out shelf. Moving now to the ladder storage, you have a 24-foot extension ladder, a 14-foot roof ladder. At the very top, you'll find a 10-foot folding attic ladder, and then also you have a 6- and 8-foot pike pole, and also additional long storage tool-handled pool at the very top. Let's move from this location around to the side of the apparatus. First, the identifier E81. As we move through the next set of images, in the first compartment, you'll find in the lower portion a pull-out tray. The release mechanism is on the right, and then also you have access to shore power in this compartment also. When plugged into shore power, that receptacle will be active. From this location, let's move around to the bottle storage location. There are 3 SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps located just to the rear of the axle, a center-mounted emergency warning light, and also at the very top, you'll find adjustable tray. Moving forward of the front axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage and also oxygen bottle storage. I would like to point out this warning label, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. As we move to the next forward compartment, adjustable shelving and also an outlet here, receptacle regarding shore power. Let's move forward to this location. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things in the pump panel area. Let's first start in the upper left-hand corner with a warning here regarding not riding on the side of the apparatus, and also once again an entanglement hazard warning because of those hose lines coming from aloft. And then once again we have a pressure warning because of those discharges. Be cautious that pressure may be behind some of those caps. As we move now to the very top section, you'll find a double pan door. We'll talk about the contents behind that next. And then also you have 2 2.5-inch discharges. As we move to the left, you'll find the Pierce American Flag Eagle. This is your large diameter pump intake. Just to the right, this is that green large diameter pump discharge. As we move down, you'll find color-coded and labeled discharge drains, and then also a tubbed storage location. And then just to the very front section, you'll find your cab tilt information. We'll go over that in just a few moments. Let's go back up into that double pan door where you'll find your water strainer on the 2.5-inch cap, and then also access getting into the pump panel area. Just a close-up here of those images that we just talked about. This is the pan door in the lower left-hand corner. This is your internal pressure relief valve. There's a set screw in the upper left-hand corner. As we move down, you'll find your water strainer drain. Moving just to the right of that, you'll find all your color-coded and discharge drains. Moving further to the right, you'll find your cab tilt information. There is some caution and danger labels here. There's also instructions to raise the cab and also to lower the cab. Be cautious when raising and lowering that all items are secured and all overhead items or obstructions have been secured. Let's now move to the cab area where you'll find the lower left-hand corner and also a compartment door, and then also your department logo and department name. As we move inside the cab, you'll find affixed to all door panels this warning label. You'll also find at the hinge point, you'll find a red grab handle or assist to get in and out of the cab. Located directly in the center at the rear section of the engine is where you'll find your daily checks for your oil and transmission. As we move now inside the cab also, let's identify you have 2 forward-facing seats that have fold-up, and then also 2 rear-facing seats. Over those seats, you'll find your headset system, which has headset hangers. Let's go ahead and move from this location. Just in between the 2 seats, you'll find 12-volt USB access. And then as we move to the rear section of those seats, you'll find your auto charge system just behind the driver's seat. From this location, let's go ahead and move to the front section of the cab. We'll first start in the officer area. Let's start once again affixed to the door panel. You'll find all of those warning labels. In addition to those warning labels, inside the cab area, you'll find your fill location at the A-pillar for your windshield wiper fluid. You'll also find an additional grab handle. Let's go ahead and move up now to the center dash area. You'll find a 12-volt receptacle barrel style. You'll also find a air horn, mechanical siren, and siren brake push buttons. Overhead, you'll find push on and off white and red lights. Located directly in the center in the front, you'll find also a visual indicator. Do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment or door open. Let's move now to some switches over the officer's head. You'll find front flood, driver's side alley, passenger side alley, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene lights. When any of these switches have been activated, the green indicator will illuminate in each individual switch. Moving to the left, you'll find your AM/FM radio. Moving now just under that location, you'll find your Firecom wireless base station. This is for your headsets. Also to the left-hand side, you'll find that LED indicating light and also your Firecom system. Moving in the center section, you'll find barrel style and also USB style, and then also climate control. As we move to the driver's area, you'll find these labels affixed once again to the door panel for your safety. Also some information regarding seatbelt information. I would like to point out down at the lower right ankle of the operator is where you'll find your manufactured by Pierce placard. This has information regarding the date of manufacture, the 5-digit job number, cold tire inflation, gross vehicle weight ratings, and also the VIN number. There's also information here regarding fluid capacities for the components, fluid capacity types, and fluid types. As we move down to the step area, you'll find the air shutoff. This is a turn, not a pull. You'll also find an air outlet and then also an air inlet. Once again, this is in the step well of the driver's area. Let's move from this location just inside to the cab. At the floor area, you'll find your air horn and also mechanical siren foot pedals. Just up at the left knee of the operators where you'll find your master battery switch, and then also your engine transmission J1939 diagnostic port for your maintenance crew. Just beneath that, you'll find your ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and also regen inhibit switches. Let's move just to the right-hand side of the steering column. This is where you're going to find the air dump and also the backup alarm. You'll also find your pump shift. There are instructions to go from road to pump and from pump to road. Just remember you need 2 green indicators when exiting the cab for pump operations. On the right-hand side, you'll find your main mirror control and also convex mirror controls. Just to the right-hand side of the column, you'll find the high idle OK indicator and the high idle engaging switch. On the left-hand side of the steering column, we'll find your ignition and start switch. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will activate all of your emergency lights or disable those emergency lights. Just to the right, you'll find your headlight and parking lights. And then to the right, you'll find a panel switch indicating to increase or decrease the intensity of the panel lights. Moving overhead, let's start in the upper left-hand corner with the height of your vehicle, 10 feet, 2.5 inches, length 32 feet, 7.25 inches, a gross vehicle weight rating of 49,800 pounds. If you make any changes to your vehicle, please update this placard. Let's move to the right where you'll find a set of switches housing the Emergency Master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. Once again, if any of those have been activated, the light in the switch will illuminate. Just to the right of this location, we've got an additional set of switches. These switches house the high beam flash, the front flood, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, rear scene, and then your perimeter lights. Let's move just to the right of this location where you'll find your siren control and also PA speaker system. As we look to the dash general view here, let's first start with the yellow triangle. This is your system parking brake. Pull to apply the brakes, push to release. Just to the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad with an indication to pump in drive. Moving now to the center area, you'll find seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and they are not belted, green, they are in the seat and belted. Moving down, you'll find the driver's alley, passenger alley, electric air horn, siren horn, selection switch, mirror heat, or load manager. Moving just down from this location, we're going to find the siren brake, your engine brake settings for low, medium, and high, and also a switch to engage. And also it's currently protected now, but this is your tire chains. And then to the right, you have a differential lock on and off and a diff lock activated indicator. Just to the right, you'll find your windshield wiper control, push to apply fluid on the windshield. As we look to the dash, you'll find your transmission oil, DEF, and water on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you'll find your volts, fuel, front and rear air, speedometer and tachometer located directly in the center. Diagnostic information is displayed above and below the speedometer. Let's move now to the rear section of the apparatus. Just a quick look at the rear-facing seats, SCBAs within those seats, and then also the 2 forward-facing seats in the rear. Congratulations, Longview, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33845. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.